pleasant good afternoon to you, coming to you live from Grover C. Redford Stadium, I've only see Ashford Stadium, Greg Mitchell Field, on the campus of Missouri Valley College as the Baker University Wildcats visit the Missouri Valley College Vikings for women's soccer. It's senior day, and the unofficial motto for today's game is kind of just win, baby, as every team across the Heart of America Athletic Conference is after a win today to improve their chances in the conference standings. The game today features the Baker University Wildcats, who come in 7th in the conference, and Missouri Valley is currently occupying the 4th seed in conference play. As I am Chaz May, and this is the Viking Sports Network. As we take a look at the conference standings in the Heart of America Athletic Conference, this is overall. Central Methodist is number 1 in the conference, and there is no way that Central Methodist will not be the number 1 seed heading into the conference play. Benedictine 2 with a win today will seal it up. Mid-America Nazarene gets the 3 seed with a win. Missouri Valley College, with all of that going on, will be the 4th seed overall. We'll do lineups in a second for the teams. For the Vikings, in goal, Anna Babiak, as there's a shot and a score! A quick goal for Missouri Valley College as the Vikings strike quickly. And it's a goal, and I'm checking the number 22. That's Callie Fournier, who is with the goal, and for her, that is goal number 5 on the season, no assists, and the Vikings strike quickly. It's 1-0 Valley. Valley in the white shirts, purple top with orange numerals, purple shorts. Baker comes in, gray tops with white lettering and numbers and orange trim and orange shorts. It is 1-0. That strike coming mere seconds into the game. We're 24 seconds officially on the clock right now, and Valley right away takes a 1-0 lead against the Baker University Wildcats. With a win today against Baker, Valley can finish as high as 2, depending on if Benedictine loses to Evangel and if Mid-Am loses or Benedictine loses or ties with Evangel, and Mid-Am loses or ties to Graceland. Graceland in the standings, as you saw briefly in the start of the game, was right behind Valley in terms of the standings. They're number 5, and so there is a great deal to play for across the top of the conference. All the teams, that first page of the standings, that's 1 through 7, have something to play for, although CMU does have that top spot clinched in the conference overall. So it's 1-0 Valley. The goal from Fournier, no assist given as of yet. It comes at, was officially 44-12 left in the conference. As the world is tilted now, and apparently. Traffic now on the sideline. That's Sierra McKinney with it, and she, actually, no, that's Megan Johnson with it. Baker trying to create some offense and to respond to that goal. All right, so for the visiting Baker Wildcats, starting is senior goalkeeper Rachel Hunt out of Overland Park, Kansas. Number 4, Michaela Hagan. Number 5, Erica Esch is in there. She's a sophomore out of Shawnee. Number 7, Megan Johnson. Number 10, Maria Flores Tome. Number 13, Jenna Latimer. Number 15, Kara Knapp. Number 16, Katie Deringer. Number 17, Allison Hertig. Number 21, Victoria Power. Number 23, Oakley Jones. Those are the starters for the Baker Wildcats. For Missouri Valley College in goal, Anna Babiak. She's a freshman out of Orange, California. Rosa Soto on defense. Evelyn Lucatero, she's the captain, junior out of Santa Ana, California. She's also on defense. Marissa Perez, a defense person. And Jordan Gresham is also on defense for the Middies. For the Vikings, Nicole Rubio, number 16, Madison Geis, excuse me, number 17, Peyton Purcell, and Julia Amador. The stars in it forward, Fournier and Nicole Rubio for the Vikings. Oh, sorry, Laura Castano. I missed that one. For the Vikings at forward. So 1-0 the score. The Vikings scored in the first seconds of the game. The goal coming from Fournier. And it's 1-0 and a good start for the Vikings. And this one, as that gets sent away, and the Vikings will throw in. So, again, Valley can be number 2 in the conference with a win, and a Benedictine loss or tie, and a Mid-Am loss or tie. So that's the best possibility there for 2. Benedictine will play Evangel a little bit later on, and the game really to watch for in terms of stress. I mean, you look at the standings, and Evangel's lower in the standings, and most people would think that Benedictine would be able to manage a win, but this is a deep, deep conference, and as Mark Shelton, the coach of the Baker Wildcats, told me before the game, anybody can beat anybody at any given day, so nothing's really taken for granted. Although, looking at the standings page, the presumption would be Benedictine would hold on to win that one later on and then grab the 2 spot. If Evangel does proceed with that was a play just behind Fournier that she could not corral, and would have been a chance for a breakaway there. But Baker will push into the zone now, can't control, and the ball comes back to Babiak. The second game, Mid-Am and Graceland. That is a very big game. A lot of them play between 2 pretty even teams for that game. And that's a game. All the other action today, the women's game for Valley was moved up, trying to keep the game to be played in the heat of the day, such as it is. It's 44 degrees, so heat of the day is kind of an exaggeration. Here's a 3-on-1 kind of brewing. The play onside, but not a lot happening there as it was off, and then the play flagged down, and Baker will restart. So if Mid-Am loses to Graceland, then Valley can vault into the 3rd spot. A win and Mid-Am wins, and there's a header that's on net, but not of a challenge for Anna Babiak, the freshman from Orange, California, that is in net for the Vikings. So a long season comes down to one final day, and there's a lot in actions. Baker works, and that's a centering pass to really no one. It dribbles in meekly, and Babiak will inbound. The weather today is cold, as I mentioned. There's a little bit of wind. With the doors and windows open, it kind of gusts through. It's out of the north and west, but really isn't too much of a factor on the field right now. And both coaches said weather should not impact the players today. Nothing's affected in terms of substitutions or in terms of how the players adjust to the conditions. And here's a chance, and there's a shot, and oh, just wide. And that was, it looks like, as we check the replay, number 12, Sadie Harper. Yep, number 10, that'll be Tomei. Baker, since the early Valley goal, has done a pretty good job of keeping the ball on the right side of the south end of the field. There's a chance on the right side, and Valley will just kick it, and it'll be a throw in. Didn't quite make the end line for a corner kick, and that'll be Esch to throw it in. And it's bodied and kicked away, but not too far by Valley. And Valley now trying to break out. Here's a long pass upfield. A couple of people giving chase. As Fournier gets it ultimately, the goal scorer, and that's tackled away. Fournier down, getting up slowly. The surface has some give. It's a brand new turf installed this summer, so it's his first year as Valley tries to get it through the defense, and that was bodied away by Baker, and then kicked forward, and that will run out of gas and then go across the goal line. Kara Knapp was the person who knocked that ball down for the Wildcats. Goal kick upcoming as Rachel Hunt, the senior out of Overland Park, Kansas, will send it forward, and that's intercepted by Valley, but Knapp will get over there and track it down and try to feed it ahead to Esch. And it was kicked out by Castano, the freshman from Bogota, Colombia. 1-0 the score. About 10 minutes in. The goal coming in the first minute of the game. So the rest of the conference action, as I was mentioning the weather, is later on tonight. Valley moved its game up. Baker, of course, agreed to moving it up. Every other game is at 4 or 5 o'clock Central Time tonight, or this evening, or this afternoon, I guess, in terms of the play. So it's kind of like old baseball for some people. Back before all the Cubs games were played at night, you play during the day, and then you kind of watch and see what happens that evening. If Valley wins, then the worst they can do is 4. The Vikings can do is 4. With a loss, then there's a whole bunch of scenarios that can come into play. Valley could stay at 4 with a loss if Bennington wins, and Mid-Am at worst ties its game with Graceland, and Grandview loses to Evangel. I think I said Bennington plays Evangel. Bennington plays Mount Mercy later on today. They play Mount Mercy. And it's Grandview against Evangel later on. So if I misspoke that, I want to correct that. It's Grandview against Evangel and not Benedictine. Baker pushing again as that ball gets kicked up, and Bobbiak catches it, 2 hands in front of her face, and they'll retreat. Back. So if Valley does lose, then there's a lot of scoreboard watching later on. A couple games start at 4, a couple games start at 5. The men's game today, the Vikings currently in the second spot today, and Baker is number 1 currently on top of this thing. So it's a 1 versus 2. Whoever wins the game wins the conference in the men's game. With a loss, if Baker wins and wins the conference, as way out of the net comes Hunt, and she grabs it before Valley can work its way around the goal and get an open net chance, and that was Julia Amador, who was applying pressure, and Hunt grabbed it before Amador could corral it. The Vikings men could win the conference outright or fall as far as 7. I mean, there's just a whole lot in play. The teams are very close, both the men's and women's side. Talked to both coaches before the game, and both Drew Hawkins for the Vikings and Mark Sheldon for the Wildcats said it's just an incredibly deep conference, and you have to be constantly improving from game to game and from week to week. I mentioned Central Methodist, number 1 in the conference. They have 1 conference loss that came Wednesday against the Missouri Valley Vikings. So it's bring your A game, as they say, for every team, every game throughout the conference. As that gets out, and Baker will throw in. It's Latimer to throw it in, and she gets it to Power out of McKinney, Texas, which is in the a little bit north and east of Dallas. And Bobbiak will kick it forward, and not a lot of carry to that one. Vikings trying to push the right side. That's knocked away, and Valley will throw it in. Far side. Centering, and there's a person there, looks like Amador, trying to come in. That was Castano made the original contact, and Baker trying to clear, cannot. Nice tackle by. No, she gets it back again, trying through, and the ball is a little too far ahead, and Hunt will pick it up. 15 minutes in, 1-0 Vikings. In a day where everyone's in, and then let the chips fall where they may. Baker can't get it out, and that passes to 3 Wildcats and to no Viking in particular. As Soto kicks it ahead, and here's a pass and a chance now for Amador off the post, and it comes right back to Hunt. Julia Amador tried to bend it inside the post, and it hit the pipe squarely and came right back to Rachel Hunt, who was on her knees in front of the goal mouth as we watch the replay. That would have been an immense goal for the Vikings. But as it is, it draws iron, and the iron was unkind. Kicks it back out, Hunt's there, and the Vikings will try again. Neither team is really adept at scoring a whole lot of goals. The Baker comes in with 23 goals on the season in the 16 games played. Valley, on the other hand, had in 16 games played 25 goals. So you're talking, a goal and a fourth-ish a game. So the goals at a premium for both these teams in terms of scoring. Valley getting one early is a bonus. And that is out, and it will stay with Baker and Esch to inbound. So a little less than 29 minutes to play. That attempt is to clear is intercepted, and that's sent wide, and it'll be a goal kick as it crosses the end line. So early goals and even second goals would be beneficial for either team as the men start to head out of the stands and down. We're down to 20. There's a stoppage and there's a shoe being tied. The clock's still running, 28-13. A couple shoes being tied on the field. 1-0 Fournier at 44-12 on the stat sheet. And once again, the field's kind of tilting. There's a ball chested down by Baker. Valley can't get it out of the area, heading toward the top of the box. Sent in, and the kick is good. Goes through the football uprights, but it's a goal kick for Valley. Speaking of football, the Vikings are in Springfield today hosting Evangel in American football, and right now the Valley trails Evangel 14-0. That game is in the second quarter, 14-0. The Crusaders lead the Vikings. That'd be a loss for Valley would end the unbeaten run it has in the Southern Division, and Missouri Valley and Baker in football will play next Saturday here at Lonely C. Ashford Stadium in Greg Mitchell Field. So that game would put Baker in a really good position. Loss today would put Baker in a really good position to win everything in terms of the conference and division next week and the standing. So 1-0 here in soccer. As Baker looks to keep the pressure on. Power. And that's headed in by Esch. But Valley comes away with it. And that's chested aside. The most important 90 minutes of action is now the... Baker has a player down. And that is, the clock stops, Megan Johnson, senior out of Shawnee, Kansas. And so I'll go through. All right, so Valley, again, we're talking scenarios while they tend to Johnson on the field. All right, so with a win, they're taking time off the clock. 25:45 is what they're putting on the clock. 25:45 they're putting on the clock. That's an official adjustment coming from the one of the officials down below. So that'll be the time upon the restart as Johnson gets help to her feet. Walking a little gingerly, but on her own power. So number 2's in play for Valley with a win, Benedictine loss, and Mid-Am loss. 3 with a win and a Benedictine win, or Mid-Am loss or tie. Or if Mid-Am should beat Graceland and Benedictine loses to Mount Mercy or ties Mount Mercy, Valley then would be 3. 4 with a win and Benedictine and Mid-Am wins with a tie if Benedictine loses or ties and Mid-Am ties with Graceland and Grandview ties or loses its match later on tonight. Number 5 with a tie and with Baker if Benedictine wins or ties, Mid-Am loses to Graceland, or Mid-Am at worst ties Graceland, and Grandview beats Evangel later on. Number 6 for Valley is in play with a tie with Baker if Benedictine wins or ties. So at that point, it doesn't matter what the Ravens do. Mid-Am loses to Graceland, and Grandview beats Evangel. So Valley would fall to 6 with a tie in this game, as that ball is going to stay with Valley. Valley can be 6 with a loss to Baker if Graceland wins over Mid-Am and Grandview loses, or Mid-Am beats Graceland, or Mid-Am ties Graceland, and Grandview beats Evangel. Valley falls all the way to 7 with a loss if Grandview wins over Graceland beats Mid-Am and Grandview beats Evangel. That's the worst case scenario. It's headed up and headed. It trickles in. Second goal on the afternoon for Valley, and that one comes it was headed up by Knapp, and then it kind of trickled in. I can't tell if that was Fournier with her second one or if Purcell got a foot on it. But Valley now has a 2-0 lead. And that goes out and goes with Baker. And it's Fournier. They're giving credit to it for Valley. So it's her second goal of the game and her 6th now on the season. And what a day to have to improve your goal total by 2. Fournier, a junior out of Smithville. Baker now will probably really have to push as we're down to about 24.5 to play in the first half as they're trying to work the middle, and that comes to Esch. Esch on her foot centered it kind of. I mean, it was a shot or it was a centering pass, but there was a body there for Baker. And it goes out, and it will be a corner kick for the Wildcats. Baker has all kinds of possibilities, too. Baker kicks it in, headed away by Valley. Although the Wildcats control, and it's fed back to the side, and that is McKinney, who's out of Wellsville, Kansas, who had it. She hands it off to Esch. Esch throws it in, and that's a floating pass that just as cleared Perez. Sent out to really no one. Fed forward. Valley trying to clear. And can't. Late whistle behind the play. It'll be a kick for Valley. So Baker coming in currently 7 in the conference starting today. Baker can't be 2 and cannot be 3. Could be 4 and get home field, which is what everyone's kind of playing for here in terms of the conference. Get that first game or 2 games on that home turf for the Hart Conference tournament. Baker can be 4 with a win if Mid-Am beats Graceland and Grandview loses to Evangel. That's how Baker can be 4. So beat Valley, Mid-Am beats Graceland, and Grandview loses to Evangel, and that gets the Wildcats the 4 seed, and they have down 2-0, a tough road to hoe at this point in that effort. 5 with a win against MVC. If Graceland wins against Mid-Am and Grandview loses to Evangel, or the tie if Mid-Am wins and Grandview loses. And that's up and clear. There's a high lofting shot that goes over and wide. It's a goal kick. Baker can be 6 with a win if Graceland beats Mid-Am and Grandview beats Evangel, or 6 with a tie with Valley if Mid-Am wins and Mid-Am beats Graceland and Grandview wins, or if Graceland wins and Grandview loses. And with a loss, Baker is 7, and that's that. Inbounding for the Vikings is Rosa Soto, but Baker ends up with it. So hopefully you had your paper and pens and pencils ready for all of that. There's a lot of different scenarios. What we'll know at the conclusion of this game is really nothing. So, Baker may finish 7 if the Wildcats end up on the short side of this. If Valley loses, then there's any number of possibilities that are in play, and that's headed away. So, coming up on the 21-minute mark of play, that ball is thrown in by Soto and headed out by Esch. And we'll repeat the process again. 2-0. 2 goals by Fournier for the Vikings to start off the game. As Baker now pushing and Esch dribbling ahead, could not maintain control, and Vikings intercepted. Soto trying to push it forward, but that's intercepted by Knapp, and she gets it ahead to Esch, looking for someone on the right side. It was just a little bit too far. Jenna Latimer broke in toward the center, and Esch fed it behind her, and it trickles out, and Valley will get a throw in. Latimer made a break and had a step on the defender, but could not. They could not connect, and the pass was behind Latimer, who then heads it, and Baker. There's a lot of English in that ball, and it goes to Geis. Whistle and a handball. And so the ball will go to Baker. And that's headed away. And that comes to Castano. And she launches it forward. And a couple of Vikings there, but Baker ends up with it. Esch gets around Castano. And Latimer had it briefly, kicked away, and she'll throw it in. That's Tomei. And kicked out goes to Centering. And Castano kicks it away. Baker spent a lot of time on that side of the field, and now a breakout from Valley. It's 3-on-3, kind of curling ahead as Chloe West stepped forward. And applied pressure, and Baker recovered defensively. Valley sends it ahead. That's ahead. Fournier looking for a third goal. And it's out, and the Vikings inbound. Just crossed the 18-minute mark. What time remaining in the first half? Fournier passes, and that's sent in. Baker gets it. Kicked ahead by Valley, and that's going to get run down by Hagen. As Baker now will try to work that far side. But Valley works it ahead. It was Perez who kicked it. Latimer working with it. Her pass is intercepted by Geis. Soto with it now. Gets around Ash. Baker gets it back, and it's headed forward. And there's Perez who chips it ahead. Power chipped it ahead for Baker. Now that's McKinney, who was trying to get it around the defender and couldn't do it. But Jordan Gresham lost it to back to Baker. And that's kicked aside. And subs coming in. It'll be Haley Thompson, the junior out of Olathe, for Baker. And Esmeralda Rojas is checking in for Laura Castano. So for the Wildcats, Esch sits down and Thompson is in. For the Vikings, Castano sat down and Rojas is in. Two nothing. First score scored in the first minute of play. Looks like also coming in Hamblin in for Julia Amador. And now Fournier sits down, and Starosky is checking in. So, and for Baker, Hertig is out, and I didn't see who went in. I'll check the stat sheet here. And at 15 minutes to play, first half. There's Rojas trying to get through two Wildcats and can't do it. And Thompson just checked in, throws it in, and it goes back over to the Vikings. That's chipped ahead. And now sent forward, really to no one, and Michaela Hagen, junior out of Topeka, gets it and sends it forward, but the Vikings get it back, and there's Rojas with a nice move to keep control. Long pass by Soto ahead. Not much Starosky could do with it there, but the Vikings do maintain control, and there are 3 white shirts. It's ahead to Rojas. But Hunt will get it, and she'll throw it ahead. And here come the Wildcats once again. Thompson. A little touch pass to Tome, who feeds it down the right side now. And here's Latimer. Latimer looking for an angle. Latimer shoots, and that's kicked aside. And it'll be a corner kick for the Wildcats. 13.5 to play first half. And here comes the kick. Up, headed again, headed the third time. Someone got a foot on it, and that gets sent wide and out. It'll be a corner kick. Great offensive pressure by the Wildcats as we hit the 13-minute mark. And that was probably their best scoring chance of the first half so far. Latimer sends it in. I don't think she got much on it. That's a shot. Oh, it hits a defender. And for the second time in 2 broadcasts that we've done, there's been what appears to be a handball in the box, and it does not get called. Ref pointed to his hip, and Valley will send it forward. But it hit her squarely. So the Jesus Zilli, my director, telling me natural body position, hand close to her body, therefore, and it hit the hip. So not a handball inside the box. That's his interpretation of what the referee called and what we see on the replay. And I'm going to go with that. Katie Derringer for Baker sends it forward. That's kicked way up into the air. And cleared by Geis. Baker's spent a lot of time on the right side of the field, almost to the point of paying rent. Valley's had a couple rushes as the player slips for Baker. There's a number 8 on the shirt. I don't have an 8 on my roster. It looks like Chloe West. Kick forward. Now Valley sends it forward. And kicked and not able to keep it in bounds is Rojas. And throw in for Baker. Coming up on 10.5. Kick to Drew Hawkins, Missouri Valley's coach. And inbounding is Baker, and that is Derringer. Nope, 15, not 16. Kara Knapp throw the throw in. Valley right now content to kick it out as time ticks down. It's a 2-0 lead. Fournier both goals. Again, all the other women's action is later on this afternoon. Every other game starts either 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock Central Time. And the men's games, the Valley men's game starts at roughly 4:30, and all the other men's action tonight will be at either 7 or 7:30 Central Time tonight. So big night of soccer across the heart as this ball is centered on a corner kick. Kicked away once, twice, and a good defensive positioning there by Valley. As they went for that short side, Starosky loses it back to Baker, and this will be kicked up. Starosky back, centering it to really no one, and that'll be Power with it. And she'll go up the middle of the field before meeting some resistance from Geis. Maddie Geis turns her away. Now becomes this try on the left side, and that's ahead too far. Doesn't connect with Tome. And it'll roll across and be a goal kick. 9 minutes to play, first half. Do a quick check on the score for other Viking athletics. Still 14-0. It's now at the half. Evangel leads the football Vikings down in Springfield. We're coming up on 8.5 here, 2-0 Vikings. It looks like it's tough sledding down there for the Vikings against the Crusaders, as Bridges is 8 of 16 for 42 yards. And Kenny Sanford, the running back, has got 10 carries and 22 yards. So not a lot of offense being generated by the Vikings against that Crusader defense. Here comes Baker once again, a little too far ahead as Soto intercepts. And that gets deflected in by Thompson. That's sent forward and really no one home for Baker. Tomei went for a little jog, ran forward, and Bobbiak waited. That kick is out to the area of Purcell. Hagen over there, and it's out. She couldn't maintain control. Ball goes to the Vikings. Thrown in. And Baker gets it, and there's a step in front. By Purcell. Working that far side. McKinney doing battle. Now it's going to come to the middle. Left foot from Soto, but Baker maintains possession. There's a pass ahead, doesn't connect. Valley with it, and that gets sent out. And throw in for the Wildcats. Knapp looking, there's a sub as Echeverry comes in, and actually Tomei is going out. Tomei going to talk to the Baker coach, Mark Sheldon, as she steps onto the field. And that's cleared by Bajarano, but too far ahead. Hunt comes out and kicks it. And Power and Rachel Cole for Valley. Had a little battle there, and that gets around Cole. Baker now working it, and that is Derringer, and she's taken down by Soto. Kick to the Wildcats with about 5:15 to play in the first. Watch the replay. Soto tried from behind to kind of bodied him. Never really had a chance to make a play on the ball. So Sierra McKinney sends it on, and then Bobbiak hauls it in. High kick, and it's a big bounce. Pretty much over the Wildcat defender. That's Sadie Harper. And it gets forward to Hunt in goal, and she sends it out. Valley turns it away, but Baker, it's a pass off of the back of Thompson. And it goes to the Vikings. That's headed by Hamblin, senior, one of the seniors out of Livermore, California. There are 5 seniors celebrating their final home game, regular season home game today. As again, there's a lot on play. 3:40 to play in the half. Hamblin is one of them. Urena is the second out of Fremont, California. Brianna George, Nicole Garcia, and Julia Amador are the other seniors. They will be honored between games this afternoon. .333 to play. As one of the Wildcats is off to the side. That's Oakley Jones. And we're going to start again. Jones looks like she's okay. Getting some water, and the kick is in. Headed high, Thompson, then headed back. And Echeverry. Couldn't maintain control. She's out of Cali, Colombia. Vikings, Rojas has it kind of chipped away. Cole now trying to go left side and loses it out. It'll be a throw in for the Wildcats, and that's Kara Knapp to throw it in. Soto with it. Left foot ahead. Baker there. And there's a play from behind. Perez tried to go through the body of Echeverry. And it's a kick for Wildcats. 2.5 to play. Valley trying to break out. There's a pass to Roski with pressure defensively. Works around it a couple times. Thompson giving pressure. And that comes to Soto. Soto with an awkward kind of kick that goes straight up in the air. Baker can't keep it in. Throw in for Valley with less than 2 to play in the first half. There it's a pass ahead, and ball's going to die, and there's not a white shirt in the same area code. So ball to Baker. That's Rachel Hunt with it, and she sends a high kick into it, and Baker will break out that long pass ahead. Hits the back of Soto. Baker still with control. Derringer was the intended target of that pass that hit Soto in the back. Throw in for the Wildcats. That's footed up ahead. And a whistle behind the play. And now we're less than a minute to play in the first half. 2-0. Both goals by Fournier. The first coming in 1 minute into the game. The second coming at about the 22-minute mark in this first half. Kicked ahead, and that's headed away nicely by Power. Near side now, that's Derringer. Valley will try to break out. Here's a pass. Nicely kicked aside to Chloe West. And she has it now running that left side. Chipped ahead, but deflected out in front by Valley, as now Hamblin has it. 7 seconds remaining first half. Ball in the middle of the field. Perez kicks it up, and it is halftime. 2 goals by Fournier. And the Missouri Valley College Vikings lead Baker 2-0 at the half. Second half action's coming up. We have 15 minutes of a halftime. We're going to take a break. You're watching Missouri Valley College Women's Soccer on the Viking Sports Network. And welcome back to Missouri Valley College. It's Greg Mitchell Field inside WSoc Ashford Stadium as we get ready to start the second half of action between Missouri Valley and Baker. 2-0 to score, a pair of goals by Callie Fournier. One coming in the first minute of the game, the second one coming about a half an hour into action in that first half. Baker spent a lot of time on the offensive end of the field, but could not get more than a couple shots in on the Viking goalie, Anna Babiak. According to the stats, it's 5 shots total for the Wildcats, 3 on goal. Valley had 3 shots, 2 on goal, and both of those went in. So good efficiency for the Vikings, and here comes Baker once again. Wildcats not moving. Should the music still be going? They're going to. And they finally turn off the music. So Baker put some pressure on early, but it comes away. Give a football update here in a second. It's now 21-0 Evangel over the Vikings in Missouri Valley. Third quarter action now, as Valley just cannot find any offense. They had 90 yards at the half. They're up to 93 yards now. Valley does have the ball, but it's 2nd and 15 from their own 40-yard line, so it's not going well for the football team down in Springfield today. The pass a little wide, and Baker will come away now working left side. Pass behind Sarah McKinney. And Valley now has a chance. Amador has it taken away by Michaela Hagan. But throw-in goes to the Vikings. Again, all the other women's action comes later on tonight with a win and some help. Valley could be as high as 2 in the conference. That would require a loss by the Ravens of Benedictine to Mount Mercy, and by Mid-America, Nazarene, the Pioneers, a loss to Graceland later on this evening. And that was bodied away by Lucatero in the air. Now they're going to work the right side, and that was Esch who gets it back. Tried to go around, I believe that's Soto, but that was picked off. And Baker still comes away with it. Nice little feed by McKinney to the middle. That pass a little behind Latimer. A lot of traffic now in the middle. 45 minutes of the second half. To determine the seeding, or to help determine the seeding for the Heart of America Athletic Conference Tournament, which begins in earnest next week. There's a long shot that's just well wide and right of the goal. So a goal kick for Valley. Again, Baker can go as high as 4 with a win and a lot of help. A loss pretty much seals them in 7th. Hey, a little bit of sunshine to warm things up on this cold and windy day. Right side now for Baker. That's hits the center, but it's kicked away. And West tried to send it forward, but that got chested away. And now Valley has it. They're going to feed the right side. And that's Nicole Garcia. That could have been Jordan Gresham who had it. And bodies down. Purcell and McKinney on the ground. Now the kick skims over the head of Derringer. Well, it stays with the Wildcats. The bulk of the pressures come from Baker today. Valley's had a couple chances and capitalizing on both. The first coming very early, and the second a little more than halfway through that first half. But for all the time on the offensive side of the field, only 5 shots and 3 on net. As there's a race for the ball. Purcell in the corner now, and it goes to Baker. And a throw in for the Wildcats in that corner. It'll be Hagan who throws it in. Valley with a chance, centering and kicked away nicely by Baker. And sent forward again. There's Amador. There's a shot and caught by Hunt. Hunt sends it. the the flags on the goalposts, on the football goalposts, well, on the left side, they're blowing from left to right. On the right side, they're kind of swirling and blowing right to left. So it's really the wind doing some funny things. Valley couldn't on kicks. Really couldn't get the carry past midfield, and Hunt, for the length she had in the first half, on that one didn't get it past midfield. So there might be a little bit more wind than we see on those goal posts for football, as this ball is trickling, and now finally out and stays with Baker. McKinney hands off to Chloe West for the throw in, and that gets kicked out, and it's going to be a throw in. West. In the center, chipped away, and nicely around Power for the Vikings. Fournier gets it now. There could be a possibility of a 2-on-1. Amador gets around one, gets around a second. Tomei back, and just too many gray shirts up on Amador. For her to do much more with it. Now left side. There's a chance, and shot right into the feet of Hunt. She comes up with it at a little less than 36 and a half to play in regulation. Chipped ahead. Amador didn't move. It might have been offside if she had. Hunt with it. This ball gets just about midfield. McKinney loses control. Gresham ahead, but Baker ends up with it, and that will be power. Now goes to that far side, and Baker's going to try to work that right side. That's Esch over there. Esch trying to get in the middle, and it hits the Valley defender, and that'll be a corner kick for Baker. Latimer to send it in. She's set now with the right foot. Kicks it high. It's headed away by Valley. Latimer's going to run it down again. Left foots it to the center of the field. That's headed by McKinney. Out in front. No one home for Baker. And that gets fed to the side. It'll be a throw-in. Stays with Baker. So I got it out. And there's a Valley player down at about the 2-yard line on the far side. And looking for a number. Cold day. Here in Marshall. As everyone kind of, it's 41 degrees right now. The high in theory is going to be 47. I'm not sure when that was or will be. As we come up on the 3:20 in the afternoon. So the clock is stopped. 34:45 to play. And again, all the other actions tonight, and for the women's games, a big one with a lot of variables in terms of Heart of America Athletic Conference seeding is the Graceland and Mid-Am game. That game's being played at Graceland. And Graceland can be as high as 2 with a win and a whole bunch of help, or can fall back as far as 7. I guess the only thing we know going into the tournament, which starts on Wednesday for the 7, 10, and 8, 9 games, is that CMU is number 1. That much is known at this point. 2 through 7 are kind of up in the air, and that was Soto, who is now walking off the field. The junior out of Santa Ana, California, Rosa Soto, is walking off and now jogging off. So good for her. Coming off on her own. I get ready to reset. Now, Coach Drew Hawkins is talking with the official. Soto is out, and it looks like Jennifer Garcia, number 11, is coming in. And Garcia is a junior out of Whittier, California. Ball is now in. We're playing again. Latimer with it. Sends it high into the air. It's kind of deflected away. That's headed by Esch. There's a shot, and oh, just wide. McKinney had a chance and sent it just to the left of the net. That probably would have beaten Babiak, the goaltender. As we watch on the replay, comes right to the right foot and just wide. Valley sends it high and across midfield. Baker, though, with it. And there is McKinney. And Amador, the nice little runaround move. She's looking for some help. Tries to get around one person. Does. Dribbles a little too far ahead. She got around Hagen. Now she loses it, and here comes Baker once again. But that's taken away nicely by Gresham. No, it's Nicole Garcia, 19. Kicked ahead. A little pinball action in the middle of the field. And Purcell ahead, left side. And Hunt takes it away. Hunt came out of the net. Fournier looking for the third goal, looking for the hat trick. Comes up empty. Soto jogging on the sidelines. I think she's okay. Here's a chance. Shot and a score. Third goal of the game for Missouri Valley College. And it comes from Julia Amador on senior day. There's the feed right in front. And it was 1-on-none. Just sends it by Hunt. And Amador with the goal for Missouri Valley, and for her, that is goal number 8 on the season to go with 5 assists. 3-0 Valley with 32.5 to play in the game. And now Baker really needs to get something by Anna Bobiak, and there's McKinney putting some pressure on. Baker's had good pressure all afternoon. Just has not been able to generate more than like one. They had one great chance. So I guess a second one there a second ago with McKinney. Her shot went just wide. Now it's Derringer. And they're in the corner. Loses control. McKinney could not keep control of it. Goal kick for Missouri Valley. Coming up on 3:30, or watching Missouri Valley College women's soccer. This is moval.edu, livestream.com. It's the Vikings 3 and the Wildcats nothing. Here about 15 minutes into the second half of play. Valley, 3 goals in the afternoon. Here's a shot forward. Fournier can't keep it under control. That's chipped aside by Hagen. Now the Wildcats trying to work it ahead, and a foul called on Valley. That's going to go against Garcia. And Baker will restart it just to the left of the 50-yard stripe. Sadie Harper sends it across. That's Lindsay, or Kara Knapp ahead. That's centered. Oh, there's a person right in front. Could not keep control of it. Jenna Latimer was all by herself right in front of the net. Could not maintain control. And it gets sent away. It's a corner kick, and Latimer's going to go over and start the corner kick all by herself. Latimer kicks it in, headed high, headed wide. Valley's there, and they'll send it forward. And Amador has it now, and that gets kicked aside nicely by, that's Haley Thompson, yes it is, for the Wildcats. Ball across midfield, pass ahead, deflected aside. McKinney gets it, sends it all the way across the field. Now centered in front. Once again for Latimer. Ash with a shot, and that's Latimer's there. Get her feet, she scores. It took some effort, but Jenna Latimer puts it in. And the Wildcats are on the board. It was Ash who centered, could not be kicked away. Latimer had it in her feet and just inside the post, puts it in, and the Valley goaltender, Babiak, is still on her hands and knees inside the mouth of the goal. It says half. Okay. So for Latimer, that is goal number 4 for her on the season. Again, neither one of these teams scores a great deal. So the 4th goal in the season for Jenna Latimer gets the Wildcats on the board. 2-goal game with 28.5 to play. Valley with the ball. Well, now to trigger. That's Perez. Sends it high. It's headed away by Baker. Derringer helped get it out. A little shove by Lucatero. And Baker will send it forward. Harper sent it forward. Now Valley with it. Pass to evade Chloe West. Pressure from Baker. That's McKinney who takes it from Purcell. But Purcell gets it back. Tries to get around West. Sends it ahead, and there is Rubio for Valley. Now Amador. Amador, had Purcell going up the right side. Couldn't get it to her. It was chipped away by Baker. And now McKinney with it. Some nice work to get around Amador. But Valley now try to heel pass there for Rubio. Doesn't connect. Baker trying to get some movement going forward. Derringer was grabbed by Geis. And she was whistled for the foul. Harper to send it forward. 26:45 to play. That's just chipped forward for Baker. Long centering pass. Headed, chested down. Perez fighting Esch for it. That off the football goalpost. And then knocked in, but it was high. But so close for Baker. Still a lot of time to play. As we see Esch's effort at the bottom of the football crossbar. McKinney trying to get around a defender. Can't do it. That was Garcia. Now forward, a little Purcell gets bodied down by Hagan. And Purcell is slow to get up. Perez. High, it's headed by Baker. Sent forward, but to Valley. Chipped ahead, and she's taken down again by Hagen. I think it's Amador who was trying to turn. Just caught her foot. So Amador from about 27 yards will put it in play. Here, I'll do some ref control some traffic. Amador sends it through, and it's wide right. Nothing much there. And a substitution now. Baker is going to put in Carly Doss. And McKinney's coming out. Carly Doss is a freshman from Oak Grove, Missouri. And for Valley, Esmeralda Rojas checks in. And I believe Fournier is the one that is coming out. Nope, Purcell is the one that's coming out. Purcell, who was slow to get up a second ago, she kind of hobbles off, takes a seat, and we'll talk to the training staff. High in the air, sent forward. There's Fournier, chips it ahead, and now there's a big race for it. Fournier's going to win it. Can't get around Kara Knapp, though. And Baker may come away with it. Esch loses it. Now Valley to the middle. Amador chips it ahead, but intercepted by Baker. Kind of bounces around. But on the far side, Baker once again. And a whistle. And it goes to the Wildcats. Less than 23 to play. 3-1 the score. Valley went into the half with a 2-0 lead. Both teams have scored here in the second half. Amador for Valley. And Latimer for Baker. Fournier can't maintain possession. Soto over there, but she'll lose it to Esch. And now Baker pushing it ahead. That pass is intercepted by Valley. They'll dump it ahead, but Baker will try once again, and that is Chloe West ahead now to Carly Doss. West back to Doss. Doss now pushing left side. She's being watched by Garcia. Garcia kicks it out. The ball will I didn't see who's going to be. There's a substitution coming in. And Hamlin, the senior, checks in. Amador, also a senior, checks out. Valley with a throw in. Headed by a pair of 12s. Harper first on purpose. Rojas less intentional. The second. Baker with it now. There's West. Geis can't do anything with it. Doss now feeds it forward the left foot. And that is bodied away by Latimer. Foul on her goes now to Valley as we approach the 21-minute mark. There's a head. Rojas now right side. Rojas can't get around Hagen. Hagen takes it and it's kicked, and it will go to Baker. Updating football, 21-0. Fourth quarter now. Evangel leads the Vikings down in Springfield. There's the whistle. Throw in for Baker. Doss and Garcia. And a foul on Garcia, and the kick coming to Baker. Ahead, there's Garcia once again. Rojas battling Doss. Garcia sends it ahead, trying to get it to Fournier. Couldn't. It was headed away by Sadie Harper. But Valley with it now. Coming up on 19 and a half to play. Again, a great deal at stake for both teams, looking for home field throughout, or for the first game at least of the playoffs. And foul there. So Valley to kick. Coming up on 19 to play. Fournier 2 goals, and Amador with 1 here in the second half. And they're finished directing traffic, and here comes the whistle, and we're going to play. In front, there's a shot wide, headed away. It'll juggle around. West tried to clear, couldn't do it. That was headed back in. Still kind of a free-for-all right now. Chipped ahead for Fournier, can't get it. Back to Garcia. Garcia will work around Doss, at least he tries to. Rojas and West. Rojas still with it. Gets cut off by Haley Thompson. And that gets kicked up close to center and headed back in by Valley. They send it back, and Soto sends it ahead. Doss loses it to Hamblin. Now Garcia. Sent ahead, working right side. Fournier couldn't maintain control. To the middle now right side too far ahead. Fournier was cutting in, but the pass was well in front of her as Nicole Rubio. And Fournier did not connect, and Hunt will kick it in. 3-1 Valley. Hunt's kick goes about 43 yards, and now it's Rojas. Fournier now right side, and she and Michaela Hagan jostle, and the ball goes to Baker, and that'll be Hagan to trigger. Starosky coming in, and it'll be Fournier checking out. The subs for Missouri Valley checking out for Baker. Is Latimer, the goal scorer. High and out. In for Valley, Paula Inklin. And out for Valley, number 13, Laura Castano. Goal kick for Hunt. 16 minutes to play. Low driving kick, and that's Esch on the far side, who tries to go around Soto and kicks it out of bounds. Soto to throw in. And that's headed away by Baker. Derringer had it. Can't get it back. Esch now. And Baker will work ahead. Power to the center. Doss. Right side Esch centers, and Babiak will catch it before it short hops. There were a couple Wildcats there. Esch was collapsing, as was McKinney. Nope, that was not McKinney. That was number 9, Echeverry, who checked in. Also for Baker, checking in any time now will be Cameron Crittenden. And for Valley, Anna Bajarano will come in the next time there's a substitution. Ball for Baker. And we're rapidly approaching 14 and a half to play. Derringer. Ahead and over the head of Starosky. She tries to feed it forward. And here comes Baker once again. Baker and Derringer can't get it in. Soto left foot sends it ahead. And that's headed forward by Nicole Rubio. But Knapp is there, and she sends it forward and out. And Soto to throw. Substitution in, Bajarano checks in from Huelva, Spain. And coming out is Nicole Rubio. Coming out for Baker. And checking her wheels is Hagen from Michaela. Here comes Sorosky. She dribbles it too far ahead, and that's chipped out by number 10, Tomei, for Baker. Throw in for Valley. Right side and stuck out, and the ball will stay with the Valley as Hamlin tried it, and that's headed out, and that goes to Baker as it came off Starosky's head and out. 12 and a half to play. West with it, can't maintain, but the ball gets kicked forward, and Baker will send it ahead. Valley, though, with Rojas now right side. A lot of traffic on that right side, right in front of the Valley bench. Rojas feeds it back. That's sent ahead. It's onside. Takes a funny hop, but Hunt comes out and pulls it out of the air before anything can happen. Kicks it across. Now Valley will send it back in. There's Knapp back to the middle. And a lot of room. That pass is ahead and a foot race. Bobbiak kicks it ahead and didn't get a hold. I think it deflected off someone in front. And that may have been Carly Doss who was in that foot race. But Valley now, and Soto try to come away with it, but it goes off of Soto and over to Baker's. The men's teams now get ready. 11 and a half to play. Substitution coming in, McKinney checks back in for the Baker Wildcats, and coming out is number 5, Erica Esch. Also checking in, 24, Stampoli for Baker, and coming out, number 16, Katie Derringer. Ball kicked out, stays with Baker, throw in. There's newly checked in McKinney. Again, Soto with it. Can't get around McKinney. Chipped ahead by Perez. That goes off of Baker. And Valley will maintain, work it across the field. Now they'll try the right side. Kicked ahead, West in a fight for it. Back to Rojas. Now the ball pinballing back and forth between the 40s. Now that ball is left-footed right into the chest of one of the Baker Wildcats. That was Sadie Harper, who took that left-footed kick squarely in the chest. Now chipped ahead by West. Starosky in the middle, feeds it back and a little wide of its mark. Here's Soto now going left side, 9.5 to play. Chip back to Soto. Get a little give and go, but it's ahead and really no one is there. The closest person is Tomei for Baker. It goes beyond the line. It'll be a goal kick for Hunt. Fed back by McKinney. That's Michelle Henry with it now. 21 for the Wildcats. Throw in on the far side, McKinney. And that's kicked out by Soto. So we'll do it again. And McKinney and Soto, a pair of twos, battling on the far side. This one will stay in. And it comes to Harper in the middle of the field. Harper now working, gets to the left side, and that's kicked up and ahead. And Crittenden with it. Cameron Crittenden came away with it. She's a freshman out of McKinney, Texas. Soto takes it away from Michelle Henry. But Baker gets it back in the middle of the field. That's McKinney. And a couple Vikings just, I think one slipped, and McKinney had to go around her and then lost control of the ball. That ball is kicked ahead. And Knapp knocks it away. Throw in for Valley. That throw was intercepted by Baker, and now they'll come to the near side of the field. Crittenden. Right side now for Henry. Henry having issues trying to get around Inkland. Paula Inkland, a freshman out of Madrid, Spain. 7 minutes about left in the game. Blair Taylor coming in for Baker as Kara Knapp comes out, and going in Amador for Valley. As Maddie Geese comes out. Sorry, Geis. Oh, there's a player down for Valley on the far side. And they're waiting for the trainers. Looking at the numbers over there, there's Soto and Perez. It looks like I can't see a number. 6:50 to play. Recapping the scoring. Fournier with 2 goals in the first half for the Vikings gave Valley its 2-0 halftime lead. The Vikings made it 3-0 on a goal by Julia Amador in the early minutes of the second half, but the last goal came from Baker and Jenna Latimer right in front on a pass off of the foot of Erica Esch, and it made their score 3-1. with about 26 minutes to play in regulation for that goal from Baker. Baker's had a lot of offensive time and have managed 7 shots, 4 of which on goal, 6 shots for Valley, 4 on net. For the Vikings, and I have a number. Paula Inklin is a player who was down for Valley. All right, so my roster apparently is wrong. All right, ball's back in play. Valley kicking ahead. Valley probably will do its best to take as much time off the clock as possible. 6:15 to play. And that's sent ahead. Probably a lot of that, just kicking it forward for the Vikings. Hamblin sends it forward, and Starosky cannot run it down for Valley. 3-1 the score. Rojas sends it back, and it's sent forward by Bajarano. Now fed back to her by Rojas. Looking left side. Now back to the middle, and McKinney takes it away from Soto. Feeds it ahead, right side. Back to the middle of McKinney, and the play was offside momentarily, but the ever-changing possession kept it on. That would have been Doss who would have been offside. That pass too far ahead. And gray shirts flying everywhere now. Ball sent back out. Hamblin. Now Rojas works around West, but right on the foot of Harper. Harper kicks it out. Throw in for Valley with 4.5 to play. Down in the corner. Once again with a win. And with 4 minutes to go, Baker really going to have to work with a win and a loss by Benedictine and a loss by Mid-Am. Valley could vault as high as 2 heading into the conference tournament next week. That was the Valley player who was hurt a few minutes ago was Lara Bieta. My roster sheet had 24 as Paula Inklin, so what good is the roster sheet, huh? Ahead now. Harper had it momentarily. McKinney with it, feeds it back behind Harper, and that pass is going to find Valley's foot, although that gets chipped away by Harper. Rojas now feeds it forward for Amador, who checked back in. Long pass, looking for Hamblin, gets picked off by Baker. And now Harper with it. Left-footed, back to the middle. Now they're going to try that far side as Soto and Michelle Henry go racing after it. The ball and a collision on the far side. Both players bite the dust. Play continues. McKinney feeds it to the middle as too far for Carly Doss. And Anna Bobiak will snare it. And there's 2.5 or 2:20 to play in the game. Henry couldn't get it. Crittenden sends it forward. And it comes to midfield. Now Rojas, and that's chipped out by Blair Taylor, who recently checked in. .158. Hamblin, too far ahead. Baker sends it forward. Soto has it taken away, and a 3-on-2 brewing. Here's a pass ahead, and there's Carly Doss. Doss, left side, looking left foot, tries to center, but can't get it around Marissa Perez. And the ball gets sent out, be a throw in for Baker. 90 seconds remaining. McKinney tried to get around a player, I think it's Perez, and kicks it out. Goal kick coming for Valley. Rojas ahead. There's a pass chipped ahead. Starosky racing. Tomei kind of bows her down. High shot and through, but foul's whistled. Through the goalpost for the shot by Starosky, but none of it would have mattered because play was whistled dead. And we're down to about 30 seconds remaining. And so for Missouri Valley, the most important, as head coach Drew Hawkins called it before the game, the most important 90 minutes of the season comes down to this last 25 seconds with the win that guaranteed at least fourth place in the conference standings and a home game next Saturday in the Heart of America Athletic Conference Tournament for women's soccer. So next Saturday evening, there will be a home game at the very least. Valley, the worst can do is fourth as the time winds off the clock. 2 goals from Fournier, another goal from Amador, and Missouri Valley ends up with at least, again, the 4th seed in the conference tournament. And so 3-1 is the final score for this game. And on senior day, the 5 seniors head out as winners. The seniors, Raquel Hamblin, Nicole Garcia, Melissa Urena, Julia Amador, and Brianna George. The 5 seniors, we will celebrate their day here in a few minutes between the men's and women's game. 3-1, the final score. 2 by Fournier, 1 by Amador, and that is our final. So, this broadcast is a production of the Missouri Valley College Mass Communication Department of the Division of Communications, Humanities, and Human Services. Any rebroadcast or other use of the pictures, discounts, and descriptions of this game without express written consent is prohibited. Transportation considerations provided by Elmer Hereford when Ken and Joe are on the road, and they are on the road today. They are using a Ford from Elmer Hereford that is in Marshall. 21-0 is the score of the football game. That game is now a final. Vikings get shut out down in Springfield. 3-1, the final here for Missouri Valley College. Men's game coming up. Thanks for watching. I'm Chaz Maddy on the Viking Sports Network.